Dr. Claire Price from Swansea University with us. You're going to find out a lot more about what she does in a moment. She does a lot of things. I think she's a very busy lady. But you know, she's enthusiastic. That's all we can ask for, really. So we had a quick chat the other week about your education background, which we always do with our GiST guests. So we're going to play that video now, and then we will come back and have a chat about your current work. Right, hi Claire.
Hiya.
Hi, thanks for joining me today. We're going to do a quick chat about your education, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because our audience for our GiST webinars are always in school, so it's good for them to know where our guests, you know, where they've come from and what their background is. So where did you go to school first, and how did you find school? Did you enjoy it?
So I went to high school in Avontaff High School in Troedrew in Merthyr Tydfil, and I really enjoyed school. I did loads of extracurricular activities.
Okay.
Learned to play the clarinet, played in the hockey team.
Nice.
Did as much science as I could. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I did really enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay, and were you quite academic, or did you sort of think I really, really like the subjects, or did you just enjoy the experience?
I think it was a bit of both, really. I just really like doing, learning. I'm still like that today, actually. So I would say, yeah, academic, definitely, because I just really enjoy learning.
Oh, that's good. Okay, yeah. Some people find it a hardship, I guess.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's good if you enjoy it. It makes it easier. So, did you do the traditional GCSEs and A-level route?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
School?
So
okay. Yeah. So, what subjects did you do, and how did you do? If you don't mind sharing that.
So when I was still in school, Merthyr education changed slightly over the years, but we still had sixth form in school. Now they go to the college for sixth form.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
For GCSE, I did double science because that was all that they offered. So it was either single or double. English language, English literature and English language, always the ones I suffered with the most.
Okay.
Anybody says to me comprehension and I'm just in a bowl of sweat, I can't do it. I can read a book, I can read anything, I can understand it. You tell me you're going to do comprehension on it, I haven't got a clue what's going on. Mathematics, I did geography, I did IT, and then what else did I do? I don't know. I did French and Welsh, but because we would always do a standard 8 GCSEs at the time. I did 9, so I split them because we had 37.5-minute lessons.
Gosh, that's short, isn't it?
I know. When I started in year 7, it was 37, 38 alternating, but then it got to 37.5 minutes. I think they got like 50 minutes lessons now, but at the time.
Yeah.
So that was those. And then I really wanted to go into medicine, I must admit. I really wanted to be a doctor. So I did A-levels were maths and statistics, chemistry and biology, because they're my favourite. I apologise to everybody, but I really don't like physics.
Oh, I did a physics degree, so I don't know.
I like electronics, but physics just goes over my brain. First year I did AS French, and the second year, despite not doing GCSE music, I did AS music as well. And I really enjoyed that. So yeah, so I did a little bit of everything. Yeah,
it's nice that you did the mixture of sort of creative stuff and the sciences as well. Yeah. I think that's the thing that people think, you've got to be exclusively one or the other, but I think it's important to mix it up a bit.
Definitely,
yeah. It's a good experience. I did English literature along with my science and my maths when I was at college, so I think it's a good experience, definitely. Okay, so A-levels, successful in your A-levels? Are you happy with it?
Well, no, I got a place offered to me at Cardiff to do medicine, but then I ended up, so I jumped that hurdle. I ended up having 3 C's at A-level.
Okay.
So I didn't get in. So I actually went through clearing and did physiology at Cardiff University.
Okay. So yeah, physiology, so close to medicine, but not actual medicine. So
No.
you're still stuck to the medical sort of route. So
Yeah.
So you did a full degree in physiology?
Yeah, I did a full degree in physiology. And the thing is, I think it suited me really because I've always been fascinated with how things work. Like, I'm one of those kids that I would take apart the VCR. That's a video player to anybody who's listening. VHS player, because I know that, you know, that shows how old I am. I would take apart things like that, telephones, anything. I would take apart to see how they work. So for me, physiology was a natural fit because I really wanted to know how the human body works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did the 3-year course, the bachelor's and that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And did you? I don't know what your background is, I have to say. So you've got to tell me what you're doing now. Did you do a master's? I think you've done a PhD, haven't you? Because you're a doctor.
Yes, I have. But I think go straight into it.
Right. Okay.
So once I did my physiology degree, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I thought about doing medicine, but I have to admit, people laugh at this now, but I'm actually quite a shy person. I was really nervous because you have to do postgrad medicine, you have to do all these exams, and I never thought that I was capable enough to do it.
Okay.
So I didn't really know what I was going to do afterwards. So the first 6 months, I spent doing art with the disabled children in the local school.
Okay.
So we made like really loads of different stuff. So we made a penguin out of a 2-litre bottle of Coke and paper mache. It is the greatest thing I have ever helped make in my entire life. And then I went to work in an analytical chemistry lab as a technician. So I went completely from biology to chemistry. And I did that for 6 months. And I realised that I was really quite bored. I really enjoyed science. But it wasn't sort of rigorous for me. I loved doing the experiments. I loved doing all the different stuff, but I needed more.
Okay.
So I decided to apply for a PhD, and I managed to get one in biochemistry.
Right. Okay. So mixing the both. Yeah.
So
where did you do your PhD?
I did that in Swansea University.
Right. Okay.
It's actually where I work now, so I carried on working on there after my PhD. So it's the Centre for Cytochrome P450 Biodiversity at Swansea University Medical School, to give it its full title.
Nice. So you're in the medical school, which is a nice thing. What was your sort of project for your PhD, or what was your research in?
So it was quite cool. So it was using yeast. So when I say yeast, most people think of stuff that makes bread or beer or wine. It's actually something that causes infections as well.
Right, okay.
But I was using it for a different sort of purpose. I was using that same sort of bug that causes infections to try and make new products, or biotech, really. A lot of the things that we have now that makes plastics or perfumes or soaps or anything like that needs a basis of fatty acids, which are basically the things that make up fat. The building blocks that make up fat. They can be really expensive to make in a normal chemistry route. But the great thing about microorganisms is they just do it naturally. So it was using the enzymes from this microorganism to make these new products, or to make the building blocks for these new products.
Okay. So did you get anything made? Is there anything now from your research that's been made from what you developed? I don't know if that's...
No, it's not. But we can use the same techniques to actually, not only just for biotechnology purposes now, but we're using it to apply to understand how other microorganisms work in infection. So although there's the biotechnology aspect and we didn't get nothing made, but we got the proof of concept, we can actually use the same ideas and techniques to sort of help in health and stuff. So it's sort of one of those things, really.
Okay, nice. Okay. So how long does it take you to get your PhD? Because I don't know if everyone knows sort of, the process of doing a PhD, really.
So it can vary. Usually there's usually 3 years and then a year right up nowadays. It seems to be the norm. So mine in total took 4 years to get everything submitted, 5 years to get the final certificate, essentially. When you do it, you do all your practical stuff. You write a very big book that gets examined, and then you go into a room with people who examine you on it. And then from there, you can be called doctor, essentially, if you pass.
Amazing. And what would you say to people who think, you know, they're still at school now, studying, maybe looking at their GCSEs, and PhD seems, you know, a far off distant, possibly a dream for somebody. But I always think, I've not done a PhD. I think, I don't know if I could. You know, I don't think I've got it in me. What would you say to people who sort of are interested in learning and enjoy that sort of being in academia, being at uni and things, but maybe have a bit of a doubt about doing a PhD? What would you say to them?
I would say I would give a reality check. It's not the easiest to PhD because it is all consuming. So really, you've got to be in it because you enjoy doing it. So if you enjoy science, then essentially a PhD is for you. If you're willing to immerse yourself in science, that's exactly it. But having a PhD isn't everything. There are so many wonderful jobs out there that you don't need a PhD, where you can carry on doing science or science-like subjects. So never think you're a failure for wanting to do a PhD and then not doing one, or starting one and not finishing.
It's not the be all and end all.
No, it's not.
It's not for everyone, I guess, either, is it?
No, and the thing is as well, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I think that's really, really what it is. So if you want to do
a long slog,
yeah,
basically, yeah.
The PhD is the hardest bit. Once you get on the other side of it, it's a bit easier because you've got that knowledge. And if you've got enthusiasm for science and you really love science and you're willing to immerse yourself in science, then really there's nothing better to do.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so if you've got the enthusiasm, even if you're a bit unsure, I guess you can just give it a go, can't you?
Well, yeah, the thing is, nobody's ever going to say, oh, you started a PhD, you're a failure because you didn't finish it. The fact that you even started it and tried it is like mammoth.
Yeah.
So, you'll never be considered a failure. Just go and try it. Just try it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. If it's for you, then that's brilliant.
Yeah, excellent. Right, good advice. Good advice there. Thank you. No, I might persuade me to do one day. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to talk to you a bit more live about Mirta Science Festival, which you've set up and is happening this year, and about a bit more about the work that you're doing now, because you're still working at Swansea University. But we're going to leave this here. Thank you so much for sharing all the information about education and school. Not always easy for some people, so that's brilliant. Thank you. And we will see you in a minute. Thanks a lot, Claire.
Brilliant.
Cheers. Brilliant. So thank you so much about that. I think it was really important to talk about, PhDs not being for everybody, and just, the fact that if you're enthusiastic about something, you're interested in something and you want to learn, then, science is a great field to be in, to keep learning and progressing all the way through your career. Okay, so tell us, Claire, what do you do now? Because I know you work at Swansea University, but tell me in a bit more detail about what you do. And I know you've got some slides and things, so if you want to share them, let me know.
I'll start off by telling you a little bit about the stuff that I do now. It's very, very much different every day. So I work on biotechnology and work with industry to make things. And I also work on antifungal resistance. And that's what I'm going to sort of talk a little bit about now. Okay. Now, before I start, I'm going to write something down, and I'm going to ask you, Laura, when I say the word fungi, what's the first thing that comes into your mind?
Mushrooms.
I don't know if anybody can see it.
Oh yeah, mind reader.
I know. It's a party trick. But actually, fungi's a lot more than mushrooms or truffles or puffballs. Actually, have you ever heard of something called baker's yeast or brewer's yeast? Yeast that we use in bread and beer? Well, that's actually fungi. Although we call it a yeast, it's actually fungi as well. There are two types of fungi. Those are multicellular with lots of cells. So those are your traditional mushrooms that you guessed. And then you got your single cell ones like your yeast and your molds. So do you know when you have a bit of bread and there's green on it or cheese? Well, that's fungi as well.
Right.
But fungi can also cause infections. So now when I say this to people, they might have a bit of a knowledge and they think, well, I'm talking about athlete's foot or thrush, even dandruff, all done by fungi.
Okay.
You're probably thinking, well, why are we studying those and looking into resistance into those? Because actually, for a healthy person, they are nothing more than an inconvenience, an irritant, an itch. But now imagine you're immunocompromised. So maybe you're somebody with a poor immune system. So you could be taking chemotherapy for cancer. You could have AIDS. Then that same infection can go right through your body and kill you. And actually, worldwide, more people every year die of a fungal infection than they do in malaria. And now malaria is something we've all heard about, but not so much fungal infections. And very much the same, we hear about antibiotic resistance. So that's a resistance to antibiotics to treat bacterial infections. We see very much the same thing with fungi. So what I do in the lab is I'm a biochemist. So I grow up enzymes and I look at the pathways and look at new drugs to see how they stop these enzymes from working. So I got a couple of slides that I've taken from things that I've taken in the lab, just so you can see sort of the experiments that I actually do if I can find what I'm looking for. So there's me in our lab. So it's a little bit messy, but it should be a lot tidier than that. But that's in a lab anyway. So what I do is basically E. coli genocide. I kill millions and millions of E. coli. So what we do is, in order to make the enzyme, we have to use E. coli as a factory to make lots and lots of the enzyme. We insert the gene into the E. coli and we have to make loads of it. I do litres at a time. So my most I've ever done in one time is grow up 18 litres of E. coli. So that's a lot of E. coli. So once we've done that, then if you look at the first picture, we have to spin it down. And that is an E. coli pellet. So that's millions and millions of cells of E. coli, right? The bit on the bottom is a bit of supernatant, but that actual thing that's attached with the red rim around it is E. coli. And actually, that's actually a really good picture, because although it might not look like nothing, but that little bit of red around the corner shows that it's expressing my protein that I want, because in that case, the E. coli, that protein is red. Now, I like red. In biology, nearly everything is yellow, as you will see with the pictures.
Okay.
So after lots of prep and breaking the E. coli and killing it, we get to the second picture, which is this crude sort of extract, which has got my enzyme in it, but it's got loads of other stuff. And then we get to the third picture, which is actually in a cold room. So we have a dedicated room, which is like a large fridge that is set 4 degrees. And basically I work in there for most of the day. I really like it. Other people complain. I go in shorts and t-shirts and white coat, and I think it's absolutely lovely. Most people complain and put woolly hats on. But what we do here is that we have something called a matrix, and it's basically just some almost like, I don't really know how to explain it. It's like a cross between a slime and a solid in consistency. And we use that then to get rid of all the things that we don't want, and what we want sticks to it. And then we wash it off and we get what we have at the end here. And in this case, it was a yellow protein. And this is my pure protein. And this is what I can go on to do biochemical studies for. So we work with companies to look at new drugs and see how they interact and if they actually inhibit the enzyme. And if it does, then it can go into further trials. So then it can be tried in animals and then in humans to see if it affects these infections. And then hopefully it can go on the market as a new drug.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. And all of the E. coli and everything is sort of live, but they're organisms, aren't they? Yeah, biological organisms.
Yeah. So these ones are, so E. coli can make you sick, but these ones,
that's what I was thinking. Do you have to be careful in that sense?
These are special ones because they've had that gene or that sort of area taken out of them, so they can be safe. And actually, I've eaten it quite a few times by accident.
Oh, how have you managed that?
Because when you see it in that bottle, in that pellet, you have to get into a smaller bottle to put into another sort of centrifuge spin machine.
Yeah.
So you have to sort of mix it up into the slurry, and sometimes you can be a bit too vigorous and it comes out and you end up eating it.
Oh,
And I
no.
will say that it does taste a bit irony.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but at least it's not the E. coli that makes you ill, and
No, it's
which is
perfectly safe.
a relief. Yeah, I was wondering how dangerous that was if you were working with it all the time. Okay, so do you spend most of your time in those labs that you showed in the picture? Is that what you do day to day, or do you do things out of the lab as well? Do you do a lot of work on computers or with other people?
So we do work with other people as well. So we have a team of people, and although we might have our own little projects, we work with each other to sort of, we've all got our little bit of knowledge that we each have, so we can help each other out. And it's a great way to talk to people. I do some lecturing as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do some of that, and I also do maintain them. I built the website for our group, so I do all that sort of stuff as well. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so it's quite varied. So it's in the
Yes,
lab and
it's very
varied
varied.
as well.
And part of the biotech stuff that we might have to go out and talk to companies. So we've worked with some breweries actually as part of that. We're sort of helping them sort of to maintain the growth of the yeast and different stuff, or look at different ways that they can use different yeasts. So we might bring people into the lab, or we might go off on site. So we've gone to a couple of microbreweries around Swansea stuff. So yeah, it's very, very varied.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so not many people would think, oh, biochemist, I'm going to be working with a brewery to help them make the best beer possible.
No.
It's not something you think about straight away. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about is Mirta Science Festival.
Okay.
So this is your baby, I think, isn't it?
It is indeed. It's the one that's keeping me up at night at the moment. Yeah.
So what made you start it in the first place, and when did it start, and how did that happen?
So as you might tell from my dulcet tones, I am very much Welsh. I'm actually from Merthyr as well. That we saw in that video that I stopped listening to halfway through, because that is the way.
Yeah, Avon Taft School. So yeah,
yes.
Everyone knows it. Yeah.
Yeah, ever since I was really little, I've always wanted to go to a science festival in my hometown. Now, when I was little, you could go to Cheltenham, you could go different places, but there wasn't very much in sort of Merthyr or Wales, or even sciencey. Like if you had any exposure, it was to Techniquest, which I absolutely love.
Yep.
And that was about it. You might have people coming into school. I think once in when I was in Avon Taft, we had University Reading come in to show us some stuff many, many years ago. I was in a position where I'd done a lot of stuff through the STEM Ambassadors Network, been in schools, done festivals, done the Eisteddfods, doing science. And I thought, well, maybe this is the time to start it. So I did, essentially.
And what year did you first run it?
2019.
So quite recently.
First and only one so far.
Okay.
It is one of the few in Britain that are in a non-university town or city. It's my little baby. Yeah.
Quite unique as well. Yeah. And it was just you sort of pulling everything together, was it, for the first one?
So the first one, I managed to rope in my friend who works for NICE in Manchester. So that was a bit difficult having a live in Merthyr. She's from Merthyr as well.
Right.
But living in Manchester, and I managed to get a vicar. We had it in St David's Church in the town, which was really, really nice. And a couple of other people. But yes, I did most of the science stuff, and they were more there to say, Claire, you're being an idiot. That wouldn't work. Sort of thing.
Give you some advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously last year COVID didn't really help. I know this year you've persevered and you've done what a lot of people do and put it online this year.
Yeah.
Tell us, when is the Science Festival this year?
So it is the 16th to the 18th of July. So we're starting at 4 o'clock on the Friday, and we should all be finished by 7 o'clock on the Sunday.
Wow. So the full weekend.
Yeah, which is really cool because when we did it the last time, it was a 1-day thing with me running around,
It's
getting
busy, isn't it? Yeah, when you're in charge.
started really to enjoy the microphone way too much and telling people stuff.
Yeah.
So we're Friday to Sunday this year, which is a massive growth, and it's only possible because we're online, which is
Yeah.
excellent. The 90% of things will be on YouTube, so
Right.
it can be run on phones, on computers, on Xboxes and PlayStation,
Oh yeah,
and
of course.
everything.
Smart
So it can
TVs,
be
yeah, anything you
yeah,
can access the internet and
anything
you
you can
watch
get
YouTube.
YouTube on, you'll be able
Brilliant.
to watch it.
Excellent. So some of the sessions are recorded, so they're
Yeah.
sort of available to view from the first day of the festival. Is that from
Yeah,
the 16th?
from 4 o'clock on the 16th, they will be available to watch all the way through.
Okay, and then you've got some live sessions as well. So how are
Yes,
they
yeah.
running?
They've got their own little slots. So if you go to mirthasciencefestival.co.uk, then on there is the schedule and you'll be able to see what time everything is on. So they will be running live, and hopefully at a later date we might be able to put them online so anybody can join at any time. But for
Yeah.
for the festival itself, it's that time and that time only.
Yeah, so people can interact with him, I would have thought.
Yes.
Yeah, so rather than
Yeah.
it just being a talk or video, whatever, it's an interactive session. So I know that our USW Technicamps guys are running a couple of workshops on the Saturday, which
Yes, they are.
looking forward to. Yeah, so we're doing our space saving and our code breaking workshops. But I've just got the page up now, actually. So there's quite a few things on careers.
Yes.
I've noticed there's a quiz.
There's 2
On
quizzes actually.
2 quizzes. If anyone likes a quiz, I love a quiz.
There's a live quiz that's all about Welsh science and Welsh scientists.
Right, okay.
And then there's one that's running all through the weekend. So you can just delve in and delve out at looking at the answers. And that's from Wales Gene Park. And that's quite a tricky one. I've looked at the questions myself and it's quite tricky.
Challenge. So if people want to register, do they register at the website?
Yeah, just go to the website, click on whatever you feel it takes your fancy, and it will send you straight to the Eventbrite link where you can just sign up for reminders and for the link then.
How has it been getting people involved this year? How have you gone about it? If someone was really interested in doing something like this, running events in science, because that could be something that people think about going into for a career, doing science communication and science and interactive things. So how have you gone about coordinating this? Did you have a network of contacts, or are there new people that you're working with?
There are some new people that I'm working with, and there are some contacts from last time. So basically I didn't think anybody would want to be involved because I thought everybody would be interneted out.
Yeah.
So we've got a Twitter page, we've now got a Facebook page as well, but I'm not very good at Facebook. I've only been on Facebook in the last year, and that's because I had to because of COVID. But on Twitter I put out a call for people, and I went through some networks that I know on email. There's loads of, if you're really into public engagement or science communication, there's lots of actual email lists. Big, which is for science communicators, they got a brilliant sort of list, and there's loads of others which I say is quite daunting at first, but once you send the email, everybody's always lovely. And then I sent it around my university as well. I'm actually doing one of the sessions. So on the Sunday the 18th of July at 11 o'clock, let's have a look at DNA. I am Dr. Zalot's stooge. I am the comic relief.
Oh, really? You do stand-up as well, do you?
It's a comic routine. It turned into a comic routine of him actually doing the DNA extraction.
Okay.
And me being the comic relief while he does it.
Right, okay. Oh, that sounds like something to look out for and have a look at.
And also, he wears the best shirt when he does it.
Okay.
So I would definitely just go and watch that just to see his shirt.
Right, okay. That's one I will book into. So when is that? 11 o'clock on Sunday? 11 a.m.
Yes, it is.
And doing DNA extraction is a great little activity you can do at home, isn't it? So is that what you're going to be teaching people to do?
Yes, so Remy, he actually goes right through what DNA is, how it relates to his stuff in the lab, and he does the extraction from fruit. So it's
Yeah.
usually strawberries and banana,
Yep.
but sometimes he does try to sort of zhuzh it up a bit and have
Mix it up, yeah. That's definitely something I've done in the past. I haven't done it for a long time, so it's great fun doing that. And it's sort of a really nice visual results that you can see
Yes.
as well, isn't it? It's just a good fun one, that.
With workshops like that and with the other workshop, that if they want people to do it at the same time in real time, then we'll send out lists of what people need in advance.
Excellent. So they can have all the kit with them.
Yeah. And then
And
if they got any questions or any problems, they can ask the questions as we go in.
oh, that sounds brilliant. That's a really nice sort of do it along with the scientists. That's a really good idea.
I have managed to get Marty Jobson, who is the science reporter for the One Show.
Ah, that's who it is, right? Okay, I've seen the picture and he looked very interesting. So yeah.
Yes, he is doing a Dangerous Equations show, which I'm very much looking forward to, and it's very, very exciting. And also, in September, he is going to be doing a show for primary schools that we will do it online. So if anybody knows anybody at primary schools who wants to get involved, then just get in touch. We're on Twitter, whatever, and send in the link and they can watch it on YouTube.
Brilliant. Okay. So you can find you on Twitter, Facebook, and mirtasciencefestival.com.
.co.uk.
Okay, so have a look at that, guys, and we'll make sure we send out emails about our workshops as well as part of that. That's brilliant. Okay, thank you so much today for today. Really interesting. I've learned about fungi and E. coli not being poisonous, well, not being deadly all the time, that you can accidentally eat it when you work with it in the lab. And even if a PhD isn't for you, maybe give it a try and you might surprise yourself. You never know.
Yes.
So if you're into science, give it a go. Brilliant. So thanks so much. And obviously, if you're from Mirta as well, you can make a science festival if you want to.
Yes.
You can, set it up in your own town, do your own little thing and see how it grows. I think that's quite an inspirational thing to do.